Hello everybody, welcome to Red Tool House. Today's video, we are going to get our corral kind of tuned up. Unfortunately, it's been about a year and a half since we've used it due to our herd issues. But so we've changed some things around. I took a gate from here and used it somewhere else. So we want to get that cleaned up in preparation. It's 8 days until we take our hogs to market, our sows, and get our new herd in shortly after that. So we got to get ready. I want to get things in place now, so I've got in the next 8 days to troubleshoot any unforeseen things. So let me show you what we're working on. So this corral has evolved over the last 6-7 years into various things, and this is the design that's worked the best for us. Again, those of you that are familiar with the channel, you understand our issues we have with flat land. We don't have a lot of it. So that's why we have this 90-degree turn in our corral, which isn't the best. You normally want to be a straight choke down. But let me show you what we have here. Those of you who've been with us for a couple years, you'll recall this story. So you can see that that little cattle gate there that that doesn't do anything for pigs. And the culprit, last one back there, Meredith, she's the one that blew through that one. So she went through that like it was Swiss cheese. So I've kept this closed. The hog panel and the board and the T-posts, all that laying there was just to keep that as a buffer when we had younger piglets in here. We didn't want them to go that way. So this gate here swings closed to close up this area where I have my brush hog and our trailers, and of course right behind but you can see the fence that goes along behind these little trailers up to here and then back down. This would be our weaning pasture. So I'd take that pig hut, porta hut there, put it about right here, and close this off, and the pigs that were being weaned were here. And that's when I had our main sows here where the trailer is. And now that I have the main barn up here enclosed, then they could stay up there. So the plan is to never let pigs back in here again. This will be equipment storage. And as obviously we continue to build the barn, then we'll probably do the same thing, just keep moving equipment storage this way. So probably one of the biggest design flaws I have in this whole area being a corral is where I'm standing. So you can see, again, West Virginia, hillside coming down. I've even got a ditch cut here so there's no water going under the mill. So that ditch comes right down through this area, goes behind the barn, on past the workshop and down the road, down into the ditch. Problem is the grade is not cut enough. I need to get in here and really cut my grade down, but I've got a gas line buried there that's active, so that's an issue. And when the pigs get in here, they churn this up. Now I'm standing right here in the ditch and I'm just sinking maybe a ½ inch in the mud. When the pigs get in here and they spend some time in here, this will go to my knees. They'll churn it up. I keep throwing huge rocks in here, do all that kind of stuff. But this will really become a soupy mess. So the plan at some point is, it'd be ideal to never even have the pigs come through here. So that's why we're thinking about abandoning this for a corral later on down the road, if we can get things improved this way. And then I can come in here with a backhoe in the dry season, really cut a good ditch, make sure I don't hit my gas line, really get some good drainage going that way, and possibly even gravel. It'd be nice. This could be an access for a trailer. You could back up in here, or just have this graveled or even concreted and a nice drain established so we can keep this from being a muddy mess. So we're going to pull all this stuff out because right now I do want the pigs to come through here for loading next week. So we're going to pull all this out, get this gate active again, and see what we can do to clean this up to keep this from being a punch-through opportunity. So I talked about this in a video years ago when Merida actually did this, when she blew this Tartar gate wide open. These things, again, they're not made for pigs. I don't even think they're made for cows, because I think a cow could go through this just as bad as a pig could. But she really did a number on this, and the reason why is I had her in here as we were trying to line pigs out for farrowing. I had her in here and wanted to isolate her, and the thing I've learned over time is don't have your electric in an area where you're trying to choke a pig down, because once they get really wise to that electric, man, they will do anything and everything to get away from it. So you can see it's, well, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but it's actually running here, just right underneath my head. In fact, when I come over here to unlatch it, because some dummy mounted the post as high it is, when you go to unlatch the gate, it catches you about right at the forehead. So you get, 8,000 kilovolts, or get 8,000 volts right in the forehead. Not kilovolts, I'd be laying on the ground if it was 8,000 kilovolts. Anyway, so getting that electric up, it used to come down here to this corner, and I was electrifying stuff that way, at the time. And unfortunately, she was in here. She was actually pretty chill at one point and was doing okay. She's a little aggravated. I was trying to steer her around, but she backed right into that. And man, she got that in the back of the thigh, and it was on. She just turned and she got her nose under that first rail. Man, it was like watching some fraternity guy crush a beer can. Just went right up there, and she busted through it. So what we're going to do, I'm hoping pigs have good memories, but I think she'll still come down here, especially when it's food time. I'm not going to try to use this gate as a close-off point. In fact, I'm going to take this gate, swing it back closed, get it around my ladder here. You guys love to talk to me about my ladder. I bet it never moves. For those of you guys that want to see my ladder move here, it's moving. So we'll close this gate off, and that'll just block that out. You guys can't see that because my angle on my camera. So we'll just block that out, and that'll keep them from obviously getting over there by the mill and technically getting loose on the property if there is such a thing with these guys. So I'm just going to leave this open as like a little courtyard. But this gate here is where all the magic's going to happen. Or should. You can see this one is built much, much heavier duty. And it swings this way to close off this portion of the barn. So we're going to try to get that open next. The ground settled a bit. There's a couple big rocks here, so I'm probably going to have to move some things. Now, I don't know if you guys struggle with the stuff that I struggle with all the time. Probably not, because I'm the only dummy that makes mistakes over and over again. But there's this air of non-permanency on so many things I build, because I feel like when I get the money or get the equipment in here to do more earthworks, then I'm going to do something different. I'm going to move the pigs further up the valley. So this is temporary. So I know I get a lot of criticism, and it's fine. I don't mind the criticism. I get a lot of criticism about, you didn't really build that very well. Yeah, I know. There's some things that I kind of slap together. A, for time. B, maybe it's a lazy element at times. C, I don't want to build it like a tank if I'm going to tear it out and move it in a year or so. So some of these things, I'm still figuring out what I want to do and learning. I learn every time I handle pigs, learn something new about the nature of moving a pig around. So I like to think each time I do something different, I'm making an improvement. But it tends to have this air of temporariness that gets frustrating at times. Like even this chain, you guys can't see it, the one I'm working on right now, it doesn't even have a hook on it. It's tied. So I literally tied it in a square knot to keep it closed the last time we used it. Go figure. Okay, so this guy, he is so heavy, he's hinged here on the corners, but also have this tension chain, and that's even bent the eye hook. This thing is so heavy. But I know because of some rocks that have been tossed in here, I may have a hard time getting this thing open or closed, depending on which orientation you want to go with. Especially if I get my feet stuck under it. There we go. So this would be a nightmare. I'm going to have to move that rock, because if I'm in here and I've got the pigs sequestered here, I've got them lured in with feed, and this is all closed off, and that's where we're going to load them, and I'm ready to close this gate. If I'm monkeying around trying to lift this over a rock, then obviously it gives opportunity for them to get spooked. They get excited because I'm getting excited, and so we're going to remedy that. We're going to make this swing be as smooth as possible when the time comes, because when they're in there chilling out and eating, I just want to be able to take this gate, just do a nice little gradual walk over and let it close and be able to latch it off. Oh look, I got to move the ladder again. an accumulation of sawdust here too. There, so that would be the position at rest, and obviously I'm going to have to add a chain to that because she's wanting to go the opposite direction. We'll wedge it there. So this will be kind of at the at-rest position. So it's crazy how solid this ground feels right now. Again, because there hasn't been pigs in here. This clay has settled nicely, and I can walk through here. You know, there's times when I had 15, 20 pigs in here feeding and doing things. It was just an absolute nightmare. Move some of this wood out of the way. Alright, so we've got corral walls here made out of slabs, nailed on the face side. So again, if they throw their weight into it, obviously I'm no match for a 600-pound pig, but yeah, that's, you want that to be tight. Same on this side. You guys would laugh. I'd laugh if I went through that. Some of these boards are getting a little old. This poplar here is starting to show its age. I've got some hog panel here. Again, the hog panel is really not going to stop a hog if she really wants to go that way. So I'm debating maybe adding some reinforcement there. Really the key is just going to be keeping them calm. If they're trustworthy, or if they feel they can trust being in here, then that's going to make all the difference. My pigs have gotten smart. They know what happens when a trailer rolls up here. So the next thing I'm going to do, of course, is put this wall back. Like I said, this was a gate that I ended up using up at the farrowing barn. That I was using as a wall. But obviously we'll take some slabs, we're going to nail to the face of that, and then I'm going to put a nailer on that vertical post so I can nail to the face there. Actually I'll screw and really make that tight and hopefully pig proof. Again, the idea will be when this gate swings closed, you can see this hard line there, then this will be the area that I've got them trapped into. So it'll be in this little rectangle. This wall will be here, and then force down into the choke down point. I've got this gate made to swing closed this way, so once they're in there they can't blast it open. If they want to blast that way, that's fine, as long as I've got the trailer in place. But you can see this has kind of become a catch-all. I've got some old fence that we dug up, boys basketball hoop that they're done with, so I got to get that disposed of. It's become a catch-all, so I got to get all that cleaned out as well. Alright, so cleaned out the junk there, and you can see just basically a little triangle. And again, the reason why it's got a 90-degree, ideally it would be best if this was a straight corridor chute here, and then a choke down to here, and then onto the trailer. But I can't, as I put a trailer over against the creek, this is the way you get to the property. You come up, so I back my trailer in, or my friend's trailer in, bring it right to this load chute, and that's where we load. So that's why we have to have the 90-degree. Based on the height of the trailer, I don't know if you can see it under the leaves there, but there's a little ramp, and it's got it's not just a piece of cardboard, right? Piece of plywood. It's boards with spaces in it, so their little hooves can get traction there. So again, if they start slipping and sliding, that freaks them out more. Again, gate force that way. These boards are nailed on the inside correctly. These other boards are not, and that's where a buddy of mine and I built, my neighbor. Again, those of you guys are with the channel for a long time, you've seen Charlie before. He's passed on, unfortunately. But he helped me put this together, and some of these boards, have seen better days. So obviously I'm not worried about a pig jumping that 4 feet up in the air. These are the ones that really need to be good. But we're going to come back and reinforce these as well and just make sure they're up to par. Right, so that's reinforced now, and again, top board isn't as critical. It's not like they're going to be jumping over that. So this is a little poplar. It's the weakest. But thicker as we went down, there's one by pine down there, and then just some of our other slabs, odd cutoffs from the mill. That's why it's handy to have those around. Don't chip them all up, right? Put these verticals in place to just try to tie it together, because one board snout goes through one board, busts it, then the pig can keep working its way through that. If it's really stressed, tie them together, then it's got to take all 3 boards at the same time. So I think that's going to do well. Ideally, I kind of went back and forth on this. This corner is obviously an issue in any corral. I think any good corral builder, from what I've learned, would tell you corners are not the best, because you get an animal backed into a corner. It's kind of cliche, but it's going to turn and want to try to figure out to go somewhere. It could be aggressive back towards you. It could decide to go right through that if it wanted to. Yeah, these have some pretty good gaps here, so we may come back and look at those some more too. Now I do have this large piece of plywood that I'm going to cheat and put it back in position here, just because that's where I've been. So if I push this back in line here, it's not really going to add to the strength, but it's going to kill the visual. The pig's not going to be able to look through that and think that's an escape. For the pig experts out there, they say, no gaps are the best. That way a pig can't see through. If a pig can't see through, it's going to be less likely to try to go through a structure. The hog panels over here, definitely a lot of visual. Pig can go right through that if that'd probably be the place it'd want to try to go through it. So I can either put this plywood right here, or maybe even against this piece to discourage that. But this corner, if I was going to come back and address that corner, then possibly temporarily put some boards at an angle to make it more of a choke down. I got to watch. I don't want to make this corral too small, though, when I go to swing that gate, that they really start getting stressed out. As soon as they start trying to turn around and ram into one another, that's when they get pissed off and want to go through stuff. So I think probably going to leave that corner there. We'll see if I regret that decision. But I think now is a time to test. The pigs haven't had breakfast yet. That's why you can kind of hear them grunting in the background. They're a little ticked that they haven't had breakfast. So I'm going to go up and get their bowls, bring them down here, obviously after I pick up my tools, and let them try this out. See how hard it'll be to get them to casually come in here, eat, and then they won't close anything off. They can eat and just mosey on back up to where they're used to hanging out. And like I said, we're 8 days out, so let them get used to that. I think I'm going to be able to get the trailer on Saturday, which would give me Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Got a load on Wednesday, so that gives me about 6 days prior to loading, where I can have the trailer back here. And if they're super comfortable here, coming in here and eating, then we may even move the bowl into the trailer. If I can get them to be chill going into the trailer and eating, then that of course makes it super easy to load. Let's see if we can get them in here to have some breakfast. There she is, the lone holdout. As usual, last across the fence, last to go anywhere. She's not very trusting of me for some reason. But other 3 happily chowing away. This is why I try to do this earlier before really needing to move them, because it'll take her a couple days. She'll miss out on feed, so she gets hungry enough, she'll be motivated to come down and check it out. This is gonna be a muddy mess by then too.